After an awesome few days in Bozeman, we ventured beyond the city to one of our bucket list items, which was Yellowstone National Park. We got an early start on the 2-hour drive to the park boundary, and the morning light really gave some beautiful views of the mountains on our way. After a pit stop for coffee, we continued our drive, and things only got more and more incredible as we approached the northern entrance of the park. We drove through the city of Gardner, and soon we passed under the great stone arch that indicated the northern entrance to Yellowstone National Park. And at this point, we were feeling the childhood excitement akin to going to Disneyland. Yellowstone is an icon of all the national parks, and it felt so surreal to finally be seeing it. Our first stop, following the flow of all the other tourists, was the Mammoth Hot Springs, which is right by the north entrance. The air was thick with the smell of sulfur, and the haze coming from the springs was made extra prominent by the morning angle of the sun. Much like when we were visiting the Badlands, we were absolutely taken aback by the alien nature of the landscape. We had never seen such raw earth. We explored the many boardwalks and paths of this stop as much as we could so that we could see everything from every angle possible. And it's a cliche that I use often, but the views kept getting better and better. We couldn't believe that this was only our first stop, and we already felt like we had seen so much of the park. But in reality, we had only scratched the surface of what Yellowstone has to offer. We found it very hard not to want to stop and look at every single overlook on the park road, but we did have to start to pick and choose where we wanted to stop because we only had one day to explore as much as we could. This was the only true hike that we took that day, and it was to see Wraith Falls. It was absolutely gorgeous. But unfortunately, we couldn't do too many more of these kinds of stops if we were going to see as much as we possibly could.
Please be watching. Please slow down.
I think he's just gonna hit it so it hits our car. He's unbothered. Invigorated by our first bison sighting of the day, we continued on our journey, stopping to enjoy a view of the Yellowstone River. It's amazing how much we could see just from the comfort of our car, and although it was hard for us to accept that we couldn't spend several days exploring the depths of the Yellowstone National Park, we were glad that we got to see so much while we were there. I truly was enjoying my vantage point as passenger princess. We parked to do a brisk loop around the mud volcano, scenic overlook loop, and we also were able to see the Dragon's Mouth and some other geothermal features in this area. Expecting it, we found our second bison for the day. That does feel like there's a dragon in there. No wonder people thought these things.
Like the back half of bison are naked.
Why don't you ask him? In the interest of time, we had to skip Old Faithful, but we didn't want to miss the prismatic pools, so we parked where we thought we were close. Turns out we were a mile or so hike away, but it was worth it to walk alongside some of these other smaller pools and see some more of the park. But we headed up to the prismatic pool overlook. The prismatic pool was absolutely jaw-dropping, but also very, very busy, and we only got a chance for a quick glimpse before we had to move aside to let other tourists see. And just as quickly as we arrived, it was time to go. We exited the west entrance of Yellowstone and headed our way back up to Bozeman for the night. Our general review was that it was absolutely jaw-dropping, but it was also extremely busy, the Disneyland of the national park system. Gathering. We ate some pizza and it was great. Yay.
Alright, are we doing Iversons in grade school? Yeah. Best day of basketball I ever played.
Yeah? Is that right? What happened to it? Just one day of basketball? Listening. Hopper! Come on! Hey! Sit! Hey, Hopper! Hop. Sit! 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 Go on.
Good boy.
Drop it. Drop. drop. Do you want to play fetch or not?
The next morning, we had time for one more quick
walk to the
coffee
coffee
stop and a
shop.
final cheers before we officially departed
Ready,
Bozeman
and
we
go.
began our
Oh, I
journey
love you
back
guys.
home. But not without a few more stops while we were out west. So, leaving from Bozeman, we headed up to Missoula, where we planned to stay the night before going to Glacier. On our way from Bozeman to Missoula, we stopped in Butte to enjoy some rest stop accommodations and to enjoy the beautiful view. I do believe in butt. And we really did enjoy the views all the way up north to Missoula. And while in Missoula, we had a quick lunch. Kelsey went for a run while Josh and I enjoyed some thrifting. After Kelsey's run, we reconvened for a swim in the river.
My Chaco Mountain Man. Whoa, cool bridge.
Then we vegged out at our hotel room for a few hours while we waited for the Glacier Park passes to release online so we could make a go at getting a pass for going to the Sun Road for the next day, which we were successful in. So after doing that, we felt good enough to go for another hike in the Missoula Golden Hour.
Found him, folks. Josh, put your foot up to it. Oh, wait. Josh, it's Bigfoot!
About halfway through our hike, we noticed some storm clouds moving in over the horizon, so we began to race back through the second half of the loop to try to reach our car before the storm reached us. We finished the night with a pit stop at Target to get fueled up for our journey home with all the road trip snacks and caffeine we'd need. And then the next morning, we were on our way to Glacier by 5 a.m. We wanted to get an early start because we did not plan on stopping until we made it back to Michigan. So we headed to Glacier, we got Starbucks breakfast, and it was a gorgeous morning. The mist almost made the views more spectacular by highlighting all of the depth in the mountain vistas.
Are we going to the sun?
We were so excited to enter Glacier National Park, and we knew our first stop would have to be along the shore of Lake McDonald. As rock enthusiasts, we had heard the tales of the rainbow-colored hues, and we were not disappointed when we finally saw them. We stopped several times along the shore of the lake to fully appreciate any view we could get of it before continuing on further into the park and up towards going to the Sun Road. Everywhere we stopped, the water was unfathomably clear and blue, and it was becoming very hard to put into words how beautiful and lush everything we were seeing was.
I'm not stupid. I'm dumb.
Yeah.
No, one of them like went under and it didn't come up. Oh no! Oh, is it up down here?
Oh no! He's dead! We continued to explore under the watchful eye of the sleeping giants towering over us, and glancing up every now and then to once again appreciate the enormity of the mountains, peeking from the mist. And finally, we reached the edge of the mountain and began our ascent upwards to the peak on Going to the Sun Road. I was very grateful that Josh was the one driving at this point.
Wow. Are there things to do inside the tunnel? That's cool.
Things to do inside tunnel.
There's little lookouts.
There's like a little waterfall coming down. Oh, so I saw where the road.
We enjoyed incredible views all the way up the mountain, but unfortunately, once we reached the top, we were deep within a cloud, which made it kind of hard to see anything further than 100 feet in front of us.
How do you even begin? Yeah, like it's gotta be, right? Like,
There's no parking available at the visitor center at the top, so we were unfortunately only able to go up and right back down the mountain, which did clear up our view as we headed downward, but we also ran into some rain. We made one final attempt to get a hike in along the shores of St. Mary Lake, hoping to see a couple of waterfalls, which we did, but we were also met with a torrential downpour. And of course, as you can imagine, once we left Glacier and began our 29-hour drive home, things were very unexciting. We did accidentally end up in Theodore Roosevelt National Park when we pulled over at a rest area. But other than that, we made it home and it was a wonderful trip, and this is the uneventful end. Thanks for going out west with us. We'll see you next time.